So June 15th, which is today, is going to be one of the most important day for us. Why? Because the FOMC meeting is going to decide whether to hike up the interest rate by 50 basis point or 75 basis point. Because last time when they hiked up the interest rate by 50 basis point, I think that was highest since 2000. The market started tumbling, and now if they are going to hike up the interest rate by 75 basis point, that could be a disaster. So that's why we are going to talk about so many different scenarios in today's video. So do watch it till the end. And also guys, before I dive into the content, if you haven't destroyed that like button yet, do it right now. And also for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button and the bell. So now let's start this with very important meeting today, the Federal Open Market Committee meeting, which is going to decide whether to hike up the interest rate by 75 basis point or 50 basis point. Because we are aware, guys, the CPI index is sitting somewhere around 8.6, 8.7, which is a very bad number because the Fed wants to fight, and the only way is by hiking up the interest rate. So if they are going to be very hawkish, then we must be ready because we don't want to be caught in the crossfire. So that's why this 24-hour is going to be a very important time for all of us, not just only crypto market, also for traditional market. So that's why we are going to have a quick look at this federal fund effective rate, because since 1981 till 2022, you can see this is clearly a downtrend, and the area where we are finding ourselves is called bottom. And now if we look at the area after this black swan event where the federal fund rate was nearly around 0%, now we are seeing this reversal, and this reversal is also indicating the market might get hit harder in the upcoming month. So we should be prepared for that, not just only because of this effective federal fund rate, but also if you look at this seller PE ratio from S&P 500. We are aware, guys, crypto market is still very much correlated with the traditional market. So if they are going to see any sort of a movement, that will be also reflected in the crypto market. So that's why, guys, that's why this seller PE ratio from S&P 500 is also giving us a warning sign. Because if you look at the seller PE ratio, this seller PE ratio divides the price of the S&P 500 index by the average inflation adjusted earning of the previous 10 years. The ratio is also known as the cyclically adjusted PE ratio, the Shiller PE ratio, or the PE10. So if you look at the Shiller PE ratio chart, you can see very clearly in 1929, that was the stock market crash. In 2000, dot-com bubble, whenever the S&P 500 Shiller PE ratio was above 30, that was a big warning sign. Because if you look at this here, for example, if you look at the Shiller PE ratio from 1929 from S&P 500, let's go back here. For example, if this here was the top and the bottom line, you can see up to 84% retracement. Again here, the Shiller PE ratio was above 30 here in 2000, right, the dot-com bubble. And if you look at this 2000 market correction from the top till the bottom, the S&P 500 dropped more than 50%. During this black swan event, we had a drop up to 57%. And now if we look in our case, this retracement what we are witnessing looks like it has just started. It's only around 23%. So if the Federal Reserve is going to hike up the interest rate by 50 basis point, 75 basis point, I strongly believe the S&P 500 is going to see further retracement up to 50 to 40%. So that's why between this 40 to 50 range, this is where we could be heading. And if this is going to happen with S&P 500, then you must imagine where the price of Bitcoin is going to be. I think it's going to be around 11 to 12,000 area. So that's why, guys, we don't want to be caught in the crossfire, because not just only Shiller PE ratio is indicating market was overvalued, but also if you look at this Buffett indicator, because according to this Buffett indicator, you can see the Buffett indicator is the ratio of total United States stock market valuation to GDP. As of June 10, 2022, we calculate the Buffett indicator as aggregated US market value 41.7 trillion, analyzed GDP 24.5 trillion. So now if you look at this Buffett indicator, 41.7 trillion divided by 24.5 trillion, we get 170%. So by our calculation, this is currently 29%, or about 1.0 standard deviation above the historical average, suggesting the market is overvalued. So even after this price drop, what we have witnessed so far, up to 23-24%, the market looks overvalued. So please be careful, guys, because the S&P 500 could go even further here to the downward direction, and if that's going to happen, then it's also going to pull the price of crypto market along with it. Now let me show you what does this actually mean for Bitcoin and crypto market in general. Now, before I switch into other chart, I just want to make you aware that Bybit is organizing this event, WSOT, Race to the Next Level, with a prize pool up to 8 million USDT. I am taking part. If you want to be part of my community and trade along with me, then do join this squad, because if you join as a squad member, then they will ask you to write the name. Which squad leader are you going to choose? So if you want to choose me as a squad leader, then our group name is Piranha. Piranha, because you know, piranha never hunts alone. So they are piranhas, they smell it and they go for it. That's why I chose this name. So if you want to be part of the Piranha community, then do join it here. It's a very, very simple process. The link is provided in the description down below. So starting this in a weekly time frame, I am going to keep it very simple, because yesterday I made it very clear. Even though the price of Bitcoin was holding its ground around this 200 weekly moving average, we were aware it doesn't mean the price has to see a reversal after that, because in the past price action, whenever the price of Bitcoin has tested the support around this 200 weekly moving average, after that we have seen a very nice reversal. But in our case, this was different. So that's why yesterday I warned you, even though the price was holding this support around this 22,000, do not jump into any random trade. Wait for proper support or proper resistance to be broken before placing any trades. And now you can see, if you have long after price holding the support around the 200 weekly moving average, you are in a big loss, because we know for an actual trend reversal, a movement here in this manner, what do we need? We need a proper accumulation phase, and only after a proper accumulation or ending this capitulation phase, we are going to start with this new markup phase. So please keep this in mind. And now if you look at this one very simple example, which we have already talked plenty of time in a video, the price of Bitcoin is still inside this bearish crossover. I have been very clear about that. Whenever we have seen this Williams alligator indicator showing this bearish crossover, in this bearish crossover, this blue line will always appear at the top and green line always at the bottom. Whenever this has happened, the price of Bitcoin has always showed this retracement. And in our case right now, as you can see, this is still a bearish crossover, because the blue line is still at the top and green line is still at the bottom. So what I did, along with this Williams alligator indicator, I also added this falling trend line, because this falling trend line here, right, was a very, very strong line of resistance along with this Williams alligator indicator. Each and every time we try to break above it, we got a retracement and also bigger price pullback. So that's why in our case, we had this very similar scenario unfolding, where the price was getting rejection from this Williams alligator indicator and also from this falling trend line. And in our case right now, what did I tell you? If we are going to follow this very exact scenario, then I am actually expecting the price of Bitcoin to show a movement, a very similar movement here in this manner, before showing any sort of a price movement here to the upper direction. So now if you follow this scenario here, you can see the price of Bitcoin, right, could be showing a movement here in this manner, and only after that this actual consolidation phase before showing any sort of a markup phase. So right now for us, as you can see, the price of Bitcoin is clearly in a downtrend and also showing a clear sign of danger. So until we are not going to see this crossover happening, where this blue line is going to be at the bottom and not at the top, and green line at the top, then we know this trend is actually showing a sign of reversal. Until then, this is looked as a bearish scenario. Not just only the Williams alligator indicator, also the RSI line is clearly below 50 level. And if you look at this MACD is flashing a bearish MACD cross. So that's why this trend is actually weakening, and we could see further retracement here in the upcoming days for Bitcoin. And after the FOMC meeting, guys, if the Fed is going to hike up the interest rate by 75 basis points, then it is going to look very, very bearish for Bitcoin. Not just only this, if you also look at this buy sell indicator, this buy sell indicator in a daily time frame is still showing this sell signal. So we are desperately waiting for this sell signal to end and flash us a buy signal. I'm going to definitely talk about this once we get a buy signal, but for now, as you can see, this is still a sell signal for Bitcoin. And not just only this, I'm also going to show you this very interesting scenario which has played out again and again during this downtrend. each and every time in a downtrend, whenever we see this descending broadening wedge scenario unfolding, this descending broadening wedge, which is considered as a bullish scenario in a downtrend, has always failed. Here, when we had this bullish scenario, descending broadening wedge, it failed, right? And we started this downward rally. After this first broadening wedge, we had another broadening wedge. This was a very, very bullish broadening wedge. It failed as well. And now if you look in our case, this is another broadening wedge, which is considered as a bullish scenario, but it's also showing a clear sign of weakness. And each and every time the broadening wedge has failed, we have seen a bigger retracement. So that is also a reason why I'm warning you with so many different examples. The price of Bitcoin is clearly showing a sign of weakness. So that's why, guys, please be careful and please do not over leverage yourself at this current stage. Use proper risk management and wait until the market cools down before placing any random trade. So these are some of the quick updates that I wanted to share with you in today's video. Guys, let me overview you one more time. We are taking part in this WSOT Race to the Next Level from Bybit, which is going to be starting very, very soon with a pool price up to 8 million USDT. So if you want to be part of our community, if you want to trade along with us, then the link is provided in the description down below. Feel free to check it out. So it's a very simple process that I've just showed you. Join a squad member after you have clicked the link down below. And if you look at the search squad name, just type piranhas. We are piranhas because we never hunt alone. So that's why join my team and then we will talk further from there on. So this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this video was helpful enough. If that's the case, then do hit the like button, and also for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. So by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye.